Huh? I'm setting up for a meeting. I'm so miserable. And I really apologize.
I've been at meetings too. It's not fun. They're not only fun to begin with.
That storybook.
Is it? It says August 11th.
Did I give you the, which one did I?
Miss Carney's looking for hers. This says August 11th.
Did yours say August 11th?
Mine says August 6th.
Okay, so hers is, it's probably still in your office. You could take that one back. My fault.
No, you're good. On call with empty homes in my neck of the woods. She looks at her office.
Really? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, okay. Age.
We all feel your pain.
Age.
I know, I was like.
To quote my dad, it sucks getting old. He's 84 and
Oh, wow. He's 84, he's doing okay.
he's still rocking. Yeah, he's still rocking, but.
Okay.
It's such a-
Did you have a vacation?
Not this year.
You not think?
Maybe next year.
What?
Yeah, it's just, it's the kids' college. I have 4 kids in college. And it doesn't line up ever. So they come home, they leave, they come home. they leave.
Staycation.
Staycations, that's correct. So my grocery bill goes from $250 a week to
I'm just saying.
$500. They're all big kids.
Off from work.
Yes, yes.
No.
I get that from 6 at night till 6 in the morning. I know,
Not
I
like
know.
me or.
We are thinking about something maybe closer to Christmas. How are you?
I promise it'll be able to get back.
Hey, Will, I know what you're gonna. Hey, how are you?
Good.
I don't know, but I don't want somebody to come in and solve all the problems in the city as soon as I leave and then I lose my job.
What are you talking about, Joe? You know,
You need to take a few years off.
Right?
Is he taking a vacation?
This buddy, I've been here 30 years.
Yes.
You will never run out of things to do.
Ever, ever.
There's always something.
I'm that person who took my vacation time. Hey, but I ain't
Yeah.
Anything when you get back, everything that you were working on is just have stuff back on.
Yeah, that's it, the list had just doubled.
Yes.
Hey, listen, I had to, re-up my. Did I do that at the end?
Yes.
Go in there and, they then.
I'm here.
Yes.
You're sleepy up here.
She doesn't feel like she shouldn't be here.
You should.
We don't have it.
I'll try.
Came back earlier today and
I don't think about how you look at that. But no, I guess I got that. Sure.
Did you have a meeting?
No. Oh, I was across the street, but I stopped by. In the car, right?
Yes, ma'am, how you doing? I'm doing fine, ma'am.
Good to see you, sir.
Same here. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing, we're trying to make.
I'm making it. We got here before this storm.
Yeah, it's coming.
Get an end before we get out.
It's coming.
Oh, man.
You know, that before we, before. I don't know why it's changing.
We didn't have an all strong street.
Sure, of course
So
not.
we had to hire. Weeds on.
Okay.
And show how we can install it.
Well,
So we showed how we can install it.
how does that work if we lose power in our city attorney? I'll ask him. I'll just ask him.
I guess we would have to schedule it.
Hey, Mr. Ralph, can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. I have a question. If we lose power in this storm that we're about to get, what happens?
If you
Because you're
have
zooming
lights,
in,
you could,
it's in a workshop.
you could keep going.
Okay, Did you
Yeah,
hear
just
that,
keep
Mayor?
going. It's just a workshop, so you won't be taking any formal votes today. So
Keep
if you
going.
lose
You don't have to
me,
reschedule.
we're having a thunderstorm here also, so I might lose you on my end. So if I drop off, just keep going. You'll be okay.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Taking that. Yeah, that.
So we're gonna have to move the building to do this.
Oh, a lot of
Something.
it. And
Two
not-
floors by 2 floors by
Yeah.
3 foot deep. So
Oh,
It's
it's good.
people she on answer the question, and I'm just.
Yeah.
She'd almost like she verbatim you guys in the paper, like verbatim.
Well, that's my
That we raise it.
because a lot of people don't have a subscription, so they can't get to the paywall, and so they don't read the.
All we read is that.
Oh.
And trust me, I actually responded to them.
I was going to, but I.
I did. I responded.
nothing's cheaper.
I just explained that, this is a temporary.
Tentative, and just so we have a tool to work with to balance it.
That's
Your
correct.
office. And so that.
You're improving.
But I did invite you in my post.
I shut the fans off if you need them on.
I did invite them, and then, yeah, got two more, and we do have regular commission meetings, so, no,
When we have, we're gonna have, the budget is not gonna be.
that's, and I put that in there too.
Uh-huh.
So I just
gonna do all that.
No, I did it for you, I just said it.
That's all I try to do, stay fair, not to.
Exactly.
Well, they don't read, they're not gonna go back and read. I just,
They just want to believe what they want to
Well,
believe.
I was like here when I saw them.
When I was in Crescent City, they did the same thing in Crescent City. They just didn't read past the headlines, so no matter what.
Well, the TV can do that.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure.
She's not. That's all, so that's what I said.
Oh,
And I, you know, something.
It would have.
She would have said the same thing.
I saw the newspaper article, it said today at night. Right, and I said. Call her and say,
Yeah,
and-
yeah, you was like, yeah, you
I
know.
would leave her a message. And she made it, she made it.
I'll be right there. In fact, if you get a bid, we'll see.
So then-
Hey, that's what he does, they're working. Yeah, I heard he was a little busy. Yeah, we all were.
But I would. That's.
Yeah.
But they. That's why we do our thing.
yeah. But I noticed what they do. And I did send out to everybody too. Before, it was on everybody's calendar. I don't know how it ended up being.
How are you?
Let me put this down.
Okay, hopefully you feel better. Oh, I'm sorry.
Have somebody on. We don't need a quorum for
Budget workshop.
for workshops.
Oh, that's good. So they're not voting on anything, we're just discussing. Do I need to? Okay.
I noticed that you had everybody else. The content of mine was on.
Did you send it to Peter?
I did. And I sent it to the store, so, okay. It was for, material. I have it in my.
I mean, you're part of general fund, so it should be fine.
I
If
just
the
don't
folks,
like it.
Okay.
Like I get the average of 3 to 10 public records reports. And I have to type them all out. And for this one, we can have this trouble. And this one too.
the question is, you tell me,
Yes.
so I have to go there.
Yes.
I like your seat that you get to be here and hide.
Yeah. Okay.
You're the only one hidden. Okay. Oh, that's all you want.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our City Commission Budget Workshop on August 6, 2025 at 4 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. We'll start with an invocation again from Commissioner Davis. And Assistant Chief Newcomb, can you lead us in the pledge? We have a limited.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us safely to today's meeting. God, again, we thank you for the awesome opportunity we have to serve the city of Palatka in our respective positions. We pray that you give us guidance, direction as we have discussion and move in the best direction for our city. We ask these and all blessings in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please join in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Davis,
Present.
Commissioner Campbell,
Present.
Commissioner Jones. Who was there? Commissioner Borum. Mayor Carrera.
Present. We do not have quorum, but we do not need quorum because it is a workshop and no final decisions will be made. We're going to move on to public comments. Is there anybody here for public comments? Seeing none, close public comments and move on to budget FY 2025-2026, a fourth draft budget revenues and expenses.
Yes, ma'am. So
Okay.
I will be bringing our finance director up and just want the commissioners to know that we have spent effort and time looking at possible strategies to bring the budget in balance. And we also addressed other concerns like operational efficiencies. But at this moment, it would be better for the finance director to start.
Okay, Ms. Pia.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll start with our first item, the 2025 fourth draft budget revenues and expenses. It's a pretty hefty report, and I'll just go through an overview first and then give you an opportunity to ask questions about any line items that you may have. So the general fund has total revenues of 25 million and total expenses of 28 million, which leaves a net negative result of negative 3 million. The airport fund is 4 million and expenses at 4 million. Water utilities, 27 million, expenses at negative 26 million. Golf for 185,000 and a negative 185,000. Sanitation is at 4 million and negative 4 million in expenses. And we have TIF CRA 2.8 million in revenues and 2.8 million in expenses. And Better Place Fund, 18.4 million in revenue and 18.3 million in expenses. And our ARPA fund has revenue of 1.2 million and expenses of 1.2 million. And at this time, I would like to give the commissioners an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have on any of the line items in the fourth draft.
Do you have any questions, Commissioner Davis?
I don't know. I mean, I know what I'm looking at. What am I looking at?
You're looking at this report,
I
but
think-
she went, Miss Pia went over each category and the budget for each category at this point.
You don't have the summary. It's just you summarize this report.
Right.
Correct. The
Correct.
summary was brought to you at the last.
At the last meeting.
Meeting.
And then we did receive suggestions on how to balance. You got that, okay. I do have some comments and questions. I don't know, Commissioner Campbell, do you have anything before I start?
I'm gonna have some too.
Okay,
No.
well, you can come back to you.
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Campbell?
No, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay, so, and of course, there's a lot of information here, as you stated. But I had some possible budget adjustment suggestions and a couple of questions. So on the other government services line item, special events budget of 26,400, I wasn't sure what that was for. So I wanted clarification. So 5193-4930 under other government services. I have to find, frankly. Actually, it's easier to find online. Into this.
I want to just say, one of the things we asked for, I know this is Excel, I asked before, but if we could get the column and row headers, we could reference.
Yes, ma'am. She mentioned that. I will say she did mention it to me. Just ran out of time, but I will have that for you on hand.
I mean, do you want me to wait on this and do this at the end, instead of doing this now and present my suggestions at the end and my questions, or I don't want to hold everything up? And
I
I
mean, we
did
could-
give you a copy, both of you a copy of,
Okay,
yeah.
so, I think it would be appropriate if I may. Not saying I know how to turn the mic on, but anyway, I would suggest if this finance director can go over the information
I
that
think
she has
That would be
put
great.
together, and then whatever suggestions or recommendations.
That's what I was thinking. It was
Oh,
better to
yes,
wait.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm good.
and
with
I'll
that.
be of help, as this is her first.
Okay. So let's keep moving along and we'll do that
Okay.
at kind of at the end.
So are you on 3B now?
We're on 3B operational capital grant, debt
Absolutely.
servicing and transfers reimbursements reserves.
Okay.
Yes, so this is a breakdown of the expenses and expenditures that we have. So our personnel expenses represent 20% of the total, and that's at $17,700,181. And we have our operational expenses that represent 13%, which is $11,302,642. We have our capital expenditures and capital outlay, that's 22%. And that's a total of $18,735,186. The grant expenditures represent 28% of the total, and that's at $24,274,302. The debt servicing expenditures are 3%, and that's $2,194,629. The transfers, reimbursements, reserves, that's 14%, and that's $12,163,102. And we have a total budget that's $86,370,042.
And if I was to insert, if you want to look at it from an operational standpoint, if you subtract that 24 million, it really means that 62 million could be considered the budget that, that we are really depending on revenue streams. And that would be a good way to look at it. Since the other portion of it that's grant is coming from grant And that's based upon actual activation of the grants.
Thank
ahead.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the next item is our proposed billing rates table. And that's at a 4% increase. This is a pretty hefty report, and it's pretty much to give you an idea of what we're looking at. The first line, we have where it says rate table, service size, GB, that's for garbage, residential inside. And the actual rate is under the row that's named non-metered charge. That's 27.1. And then we've applied the 4% increase for that. And we're showing in dollars how much the increase would be, which is $1.08. And then the new rate, when you add the 4% increase plus the original rate, it would be $28.18. And we just kind of applied that throughout the table.
Okay, and to give a little explanation too, we have been running,
I can. We
Yeah,
have been,
please.
on the average from, looking back at the history for the past 5 or 6 years, they have been increasing at 7.15%. It was 1 year I saw it was up to 9%. But per our analysis and review of CPI and SCOLA and all of that, CPI is like about 3%. So we don't want to we don't want to recommend increasing it as high as it had been done in the past.
okay,
It is more reasonable that we try to stay closer to CPI.
okay, makes sense. And at this point, we're running short in terms of the
Yes,
the
yes, from a
coverage,
budgetary
from a
accounting.
budgetary standpoint.
Right. And of course, once we convert that in a fiscal year to governmental accounting principles and standards, then most likely we would have profit of some sort because of the capital expenditures.
Okay, any questions, Commissioner Davis? Okay,
Okay.
we'll go on
So-
to the next item, please.
Okay, the next item is our millage rate analysis. And here we have the 2025 certified gross taxable value at first the rollback rate, the 6.4 mils, 6.8 mils, and 7 mils. And we have the percentage increase for each rate listed there. And that's 0.025690 under the 6.4 mils, and we have our 0.089796 under the 6.8 mils and 0.121849 under the 7 mils. We have proposed ad valorem revenues for each option there, 4.6 million under the rollback rate, 4.7 under the 6.4 mils, 5 million under the 6.8 mils, and 5.1 million under the 7 mils. We have the revenue above the rollback rate for the 6.4 mils is 118,000. Under the 6.8 mils, it's 414,000, and for 7 mils, it's 562,000. And down towards the bottom, 2024 to 2025 certified gross taxable value is at 712 million. And then we have a hefty increase in gross taxable value of real property of 26 million. So that's a percentage increase of 3.7%.
And as we know, then on Monday evening, we did certify it at the 7.0.
To a
At the
maximum.
7.0
okay.
rate.
Yep.
Mhm. And just, that's not the maximum is 11, but the maximum for our city.
Right, correct. The
And we're
maximum is
looking-
10, but the
Right.
maximum we agreed
Right,
to
that we're looking at.
even consider would be 7.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Continue. please.
Any
Okay.
questions? Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Campbell?
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Not at this time.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so the next is
Fire.
our 2025-2026 fire assessment analysis as of August 1st, 2025. Under the first column, we have our gross value of improvements of $950,123. And that includes both the variable rate of $2 and the fixed rate of $175 minus exclusions. And our taxable value for fire assessments, $731,611. The cost, variable cost per thousand, we're offering these several options. The current rate is 2.46. And here we're stating that an option would be to make the variable cost at $2, $175, or $150. And just below that, we have our tier one fee assessment. And currently it's 1.7 million. And the first option, with the variable cost of $2 would be 1.4 million, less then that here to the right, the negative 33,000, that will be the amount of revenue that we have lost, or not lost, but chose to reduce the variable cost by. And we have that 175, the fee assessment for that would be 1.2 million, and that would be a loss of 519,000. And if we had set the variable rate at 150, we would have 1,097,000, and that would be a loss of $702. And under that, we have tier two, where we're listing the number of parcels that we're billing for, and the excluded parcels are 433, and our taxable parcels are 4,004. The residential parcels are 2,663, and other taxable parcels are $1,341. And that's at a fixed cost of 125. That's where we are currently. And our options, the first two are 175, and the third option is to set that fixed cost. We'll keep it the same as it is now, $125. We have.
So what we're, if I may, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what we're doing is just trying to give you some options. However, this methodology has not yet been confirmed by our attorney. That's our consultant, Mark Lawson. We did present it to him. We're kind of waiting for him to get back to us. Like, my question is whether or not we have the flexibility to charge residential one rate and industrial and non-profit or governmental another. That is what we have not confirmed. So, and if we can, then we would suggest stratification, meaning that the residential fixed costs would stay at the 125, but any other type of parcel owner would be up to the 175. So that's pretty much. We're just looking at options. We will
Okay.
confirm this,
Okay, but we need confirmation that that's something we can actually.
that
do.
we can actually do, because we
Okay.
are not even certain that we can do it. It's just an option.
Typically, I
are
think you can do
pursuing.
it as long as you have some supporting data. So we may need to gather some data from our fire responders about how many incidents that go to residential versus commercial, and there should be a way to do it. If we have the data, we can.
Okay, I have the data and I have the detailed information, or we have the detailed information for every parcel. So I'd like to go over that with you as well, Mr. Brooks. Okay? I think he said yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
And the consumer price index?
Right.
Yes, so this is a report that we researched, and we're calculating the current CPI for June 2025 compared to June 2024. And that CPI percentage change was 2.28%. And with that information, we are recommending a 4% increase. And that's due to the lapse of time between grant expenses and reimbursements by the grantor. Also, I've learned that we did not apply an increase last fiscal year.
We did not.
We did not, so we're,
And I don't think the year before either.
or the year before. So we want to maintain at least CPI an increase based on what's happening with CPI, the Consumer Price Index.
yeah.
And the second page is kind of goes more in detail, gives a breakdown of the cost of living versus the Consumer Price Index and how they're applied. One is applied to the expenses and the basket of goods and services. The other is more for income and how, for example, in here I put the Social Security recipients receive the 2.5% increase, cost of living increase.
Okay. And I think it might be helpful in some way to get, now that we have a public information officer, again, to perhaps get some of this information in basic fact-based terms to the community, because I think
Okay.
it's a lot of
Perfect.
information for us, let alone people that are immersing themselves in it, so to speak. So that might be helpful.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to the next item, which is decision unit request summary.
Decision unit requests. It's a hefty packet. The first page is a summary of all of our wish lists and needs throughout the city, throughout every department. Every department is important to us, right? Every department plays a huge role in the success of the city of Palatka. So this list is very important and critical to all of our needs. And we're hoping that we can fund them. We can go through, I'm not sure how to approach it if you
No,
wanna.
they've seen it before. This is
They've
our
seen it.
second or
Yeah,
third
just-
time.
Okay.
It was given so that the commissioners can have some understanding even more. I
Okay.
don't think that we gave them last time the actual decision unit.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
So that's why now they have an opportunity to read the justification.
This is helpful, though. Thank you.
Yeah, right. So that's why we wanted them to have that.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
and commissioners, you know, you're at liberty to give us input up until about August 20th. Is our deadline to be able to receive information to adjust the budget and to be certain that it's in balance.
Mayor, I just like
Yes,
to say
go ahead.
thank you guys. This was great.
Oh, okay.
Very good information to help us understand the rationale and to analyze and come up with the feedback.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis.
Keep on going. Your last
Oh,
one.
the last
10-year.
page is the
And-
10-year analysis.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
pardon
did
me.
actually print it on the page. While she's doing, while Ms. Finance Director is doing that, I'd just like to say thank you to all of the department heads that were able to attend today. And they're here just in case there's any question. They have all made their presentation, but they just wanted to.
Mhm.
Okay.
And we appreciate that, for sure.
Okay, so the 10-year analysis summary is a lot of information presented, but it also shows the growth in our budget, the growth in revenues. We spend a lot in payroll expenses, but at the same time, we're bringing in a lot more. You can see from year to year, the gradual increase in revenues. And that's partly due to the efforts of our team members and the grant funding that we've received. And although the expense line item has also increased, it seems to be certain years where we've spent more than others. However, I don't see a huge uptick. I can see the gradual increase in spending.
Any
And
questions, Commissioner Campbell? A lot of information. Is he still there?
He's still there.
Okay.
I know one obvious thing to observe, just common sense, obvious, not, thank you. As one additional step that finance director did was to literally calculate the percentage of change from year to year, and that will be sent to your email.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's important too. If you would like to just narrate quickly the percentage of change from 2015 to 2025, or the amount of change Because we were at 22 million with the budget, 2025, and now in 2015, I'm sorry, 2025, we're at 75 million. So what percentage of change is that, please?
That was cut off on the report. However, I can give you the dollar amount.
Okay,
So
that would be
the revenue-
helpful.
Okay, the original budget for 2015 was $22,174,946. And the original budget in projected 2025, $75,924,388.
It's more than a 300% increase.
It is, it is. And our revenues at 2015 was $20,245,177. And in projected 2025, the revenues are $39,975,246. That's a significant, right? And we can look at expenses. Expenses were $26,592,696. And in 2025, we have $38,673,020. And we can also look at the number of employees here, 149 employees back in 2015, as opposed to now 193.
If I may comment,
Mhm.
per human resources, the 193 represents something that we did not have in 2015, and that is the temporary employees. Remember this year we had even 10. We had at least 10 to 12 temporary employees this fiscal year. Additionally, I think we have how many interns? 20. So if you add 20 plus 12, that's 32. So the anomaly in the year 2025 is 32. So if you subtract that from the 193, the real number is 161. So the increase in employees has been very little in comparison to the bulk of revenue that is being generated, the expenditures that we are incurring. So literally, we have been able to keep the growth of the size of the employment base very low compared to a 300% increase, in our budget, but in actuality, our revenue stream only increased by 18 million. So, but that's still almost 100% increase. From 21 to 39, it's almost 100% increase.
And I appreciate that from a fiscal standpoint. On the other side of that, it means those employees we do have are doing extra and
That's
above
what
and
it really
beyond. They're
means.
doing other
That's the
people's jobs,
reality.
and that's the
know?
downside of that.
Okay.
So I think we need to be able to say that, and the
Yes,
community
ma'am.
needs to know how hard our city employees work and how much
Yes, they
extra they
are.
put into their job.
Yes, that's why I stopped and said, thank you for them coming, because they're always going the extra mile, always.
Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Campbell, any questions? You did send us today, and it was a request of Commissioner Borum, suggestions on how to balance the budget and plans for the city of Palatka to be, and speak of him, here he is, just in time. Perfect timing.
Commissioner, thank you. Because of this, Commissioner. Anyway, Commissioner, thank you for inquiring, and helping us do more to have a better budget meeting. I appreciate it. And as we were pursuing, oh wait, I'm sorry. I'll
Let
wait.
it get settled, yeah. We went through all of that. Now we're on this document.
Yeah, we're on,
No,
we finished that part. Do you have yours? And I could give him mine?
I made
Okay.
a copy.
Give us, Commissioner. Oh, does he have his? Oh, yes, okay. All right, cool. All right, so, just in response to you asking, hey, look in there, dive some more. So some of the things we were able to come up with, was our first approach was to look at vacant positions. positions that had not yet, or I'm not certain, but I think they have not been filled to the best of my knowledge. I came up with maybe about 4 or 5, totaling about 365,000 with a fringe benefit of 45%. So that's at least $530,000 if we were to decide to cut the vacant positions from the budget. The other thing, I know that we have a request from the fire department, which really totals 2.8 million. And if we were to reduce that request by about 1.8 million, we can bring the budget in balance. We also had some new positions. The budget originally called for 6 positions. If we can possibly reduce that down to 2 positions, then we could bring this budget into balance. Not funding salary raises, reduce capital funding by 300,000. I had also received some requests to look at the possibility of having the attorney role being contractual. So I did look at that as a request, and I was only able to, if we had the average billing hourly rate, here I put 250 on page 3, but it's really closer to $300 per hour. That would only give us about 650 to 725 annual billing hours, billable hours. It will reduce our costs because right now we're at 238,000 for the attorney services. So, but I just wanted, right now, the city attorney as a salaried employee, we are receiving 2,080 hours at this time. Additionally, I looked at some of the efficiency improvements within the department. And most of this we are doing, automating routine tasks, streamlining communication. We're starting to use Zoom and Microsoft Teams much more to try to cut down some of the meetings and running to and fro. Flexible work schedules, we're already doing that. Regular training, we're doing that. Usage of technology, the IT liaison is helping us more in that area. Also, community affairs is helping us with GoGov and other, and the GIS. So we are starting to implement more technology in our daily responsibilities. Prioritization is constant, cross-training, cross-departmental collaboration. We tend to do that routinely once or twice a month. We're constantly reviewing processes, setting clear goals, and trying very hard to create a positive work environment. I would say that's the most challenging of them all. Looking at revenue streams, you asked us to look at that, and we did look at it. We took a different approach this year for this budgeting period, Commissioner. We went to the various department heads, particularly Public Works, because most of the grants are infrastructure based. So he was able to give us a listing of all of the needs that is not currently funded by the operational budget. He broke it out in categories: sanitation, streets, roads, all of that. And once we received that list, working with the new grant writer, we are now categorizing it, prioritizing it, but additionally pursuing, okay, where can we find this money? The challenge right now is the fact that most of the grants are open for the next 6 weeks. So we're under crunch to get a lot of grants out by the time we get to September 30th. So that's our plan of action as relates to bringing in. We also discovered that some of the grant relationships that we have right now with some of the engineers like Hanson, Passaro, Health, there's a component in the award that says they are to assist us with grant writing. So we're pursuing that, and we did use it 2 weeks ago. We already did the review of the Appendix A, and most of the department heads have already submitted their changes in fees. So that has been taken care of. The planning department, we did an assessment about 2 weeks ago, realized that there's a lot of the money that we're billing that we are not collecting. There are many shops that are past due. So we have now almost implemented the strategy for collecting the past due amounts and the billing of the current fees. There's a new fee that has just started, I guess, this week, and it's called Plans Review. And that's under the planning department, where before a developer can proceed, we have to review their plans and sign off on it, that is a functional plan. So I believe yesterday, if I'm right, Mr. Lorenzo, we did billing, right, yesterday or today for 15,000, or will do.
Yeah, we've been collecting those fees in the past also. It's not something new.
Okay,
It's a review of a site plan.
okay. But now we're starting to get more activity or something.
Well, that's more growth down to the city, we're collecting more fees.
Okay, good. And as it relates to current exemptions and abatements, the only thing that I could really see was that fire assessment, where we have, I think it was 1,300 something of taxable, of parcels that are not really being taxed or fully taxed. So again, I'm looking at that, and Mr. Brooks says that he would also assist in that matter, but we have Mr. Lawson as well. As it relates to the policy or procedural changes that could incentivize, more growth, more assistance with the city. We looked at other cities, and what we saw was they stimulated growth in the city by dealing with zoning. Like there needs to be some, we need to look at our zoning, see if we need to change it some to have more people get involved with businesses, set aside space, adopt business diversity ordinances, and also repurposing vacant, we have a lot of vacant properties, and we need to stop, repurpose them so that they can turn into money. So we're looking at that. An analysis will also be completed per commissioner's request as well to determine if the step and grade can be sustained, over the next, say, 10 years. Will we, based upon the step and grade study that was completed and what we are currently adhering to, the big question is, will we be able to sustain it over the next 10 years, 5 to 10 years? So we will have an analysis completed for that. It's not done yet, but we will do it. And then other innovative practices, there's something called public-private partnerships, and we do need to pursue that more. We looked at some other cities, and we saw that mainly that is being utilized for commercial and industrial development, recreational and cultural facilities, and downtown revitalization. So I know one of the examples of what I personally did was I hooked up I connected the city where I was working with another city that was over in the Panhandle. And as they made money, our city doing nothing also made money. So there are many different ways to pursue public-private partnership. We were also thinking, like here in Palatka, one of the ways we could implement this, as the commissioners have been asking for us to figure out how can we set up a pool, in areas where there are no pools. And so we're looking at, can we possibly pursue public-private partnership with that as well? And that's pretty much it. Just letting you understand that we really are trying to come up with ways to not only balance the budget, but to also become more profitable.
Thank you. And just before we go any further, for the record, both Commissioner Campbell and Commissioner Borum are in the building. So we just acknowledge that. Anybody, Commissioner Davis? It's a lot of information.
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
I just want to note that I am on Zoom in this meeting as well.
That's Commissioner Jones. I have him down as VIA Zoom.
Okay, we'll note that. Thank you, Commissioner Jones.
Yeah.
Commissioner Borum?
Commissioner Borum, what?
Any thoughts, input, or you just want to process it all?
I'm trying to process and I'm, trying to catch up on what was communicated, and I don't know what I missed. And so kind of I'm kind of get my feet under me right now.
Okay, I get it. Commissioner Campbell?
I was here for the most part, well, for the entire meeting, excluding the time that I disconnect to come inside. But with regards to, the decision units, when will that come before us so that we're able to actually discuss?
It's there.
I know it's there, but when will we be able to have the discussion as to dive a little bit deeper? We know it's been presented to us,
Mhm.
but because I know I was one of the ones who made the request that they give us the filet mignon version of what it is that they need so that we are able to kind of help dive in and weed out or really take in consideration what it is that they need. And I know it's presented to us, but I think it also works to our benefit to have either city manager or the department head to actually speak to the request and this and the necessity of their request. So I would love to see if we can get that squeezed in at our next budget workshop or how you see fit.
So, what happened was, each department head, when they came up and made their presentation, they presented based upon what's in the decision units. So they did do that. And now, when we get to August 28th, we will be forced at that time, at that budget, to make sure we present to you a balanced budget. So the next time we get together per our
Well,
calendar.
I guess I was trying to say that I would hope that we would have had a discussion that would allow us to really take in consideration, because again, as I stated in our previous conversation, that oftentimes we get to the point where we're looking for a balanced budget, which is absolutely what we want. But later on, in the fiscal year, we are met with emergencies, or we're having to pull funding from other places. Whereas if we would have been able amongst ourselves as commissioners to take in consideration and have some extensive dialogue with regards to some of the things that are listed, would have possibly alleviated that happening, saying, I know we won't be able to do it 100%, but that was my hope. So I
Okay.
wanted that to be reflected in the record.
Would you like, they're here, would you,
Is
you want
everyone that is on that list? I want to
maybe?
give everyone the opportunity, or give the commission the opportunity to see if there's anything that they would like to bring
Yes.
that is listed.
So, police is here, fire is here, police is here, right? We can call them, yes, okay, I thought I saw them. Streets, cemetery, water treatment, reclamation, water district, okay, they're here.
So I guess the question would be to the commission if this is something, I mean, this is our last opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into it. But again, I wanted them to bring this to us so that we would be able to really talk about it and not just check off on something that we could have had some discussion on.
Yes, sir.
We're
Hey,
here, so I'm
yeah,
fine with it.
I was gonna say, and I agree, and I think what I'm looking for, to Commissioner Campbell's point is, we know we have the full list. The question is, what's really required and what's the nice to have? I think that what would help me. You know,
So what's a
because we did-
necessity and what's a wish list? if you want?
Correct.
And so us going through it, just giving a top level with the decision units, really did not touch any of them. Only the 1 million, maybe the 1,000,008, I think that was the only thing. If you haven't, can you bring that back up, please? And make it as large as you can, if you can.
That's as large as it's gonna get.
Oh, that's as large as it'll be.
Yeah.
So the only thing,
Number 12 on the list.
You can hit Zoom right there.
Yeah, if
You can hit the
you can
Zoom.
make it larger,
Yeah.
right?
Be close.
That's what we're talking about, and get rid of that thing on the
Yeah.
side, right? Thank you,
Sorry.
right, okay.
So it's
So-
number 12 that you're referencing.
Mm-hmm. So the only item really referred to is, the ladder truck for 1,800,000. That was pretty much, the bulk of it has not been touched. And other than that, a suggestion that number 17, which is fire, requesting personnel up to 6. And, the only thing recommended here was instead of it being 6, if he could, operate with only 2. Now, otherwise, nothing else has been touched on the decision units.
Okay.
So the 1,000,008, and where you say 390, you see the 390 and the 75. So the 390 was requested to, I was suggestion reduced to 130, which would give him 2 personnel instead of 6. And the,
17.
17.
right,
So reduce the salary.
just reduce that down to 130 instead of 390. The 75, I was saying, maybe not do the salary increase of 75. So that's it. That's it for what has been touched.
Okay, would Chief Taylor just
Is
come
he
up
here?
and tell us what the impact or not that will be?
Good evening, Commissioner. So if I can start back over with some of this, so the ladder truck is gonna be our biggest concern. We could easily push the engine back a year or 2. That would take that 900,000 to $1 million off. We've also been talking to a manufacturer that may have some demo trucks for us, so the prices may come down. So there's that. The ladder truck would be more important though. As far as the personnel, all I did was apply for a grant. So there's no money coming out this budget year for personnel necessarily, unless we were to get that grant. And then then it's the first year, it would be completely paid for by the federal government. The second year it goes to 75%, third year 50%, and then we're on our own. So this would be a 3-year period for this. The GL lines are minimal, but we do need to start tracking that information for special operations better and having an actual budget for them. We're also in the midst of renegotiating contracts with Georgia Pacific, Seminole Electric, PDM Bridge, and, or not PDM Bridge, St. John Shipbuilders. So as we're moving through that, we're trying to get them to help us fund the special operations equipment and training. So that seems to be going pretty well with Georgia Pacific right now.
Yeah.
It's, we're still talking and working through that.
Aren't you?
So then with the salary increase, that's just something, we couldn't find an inspector. We couldn't find a fire marshal at that rate. We have now interviewed and we think we have a candidate for the inspector at the rate that you guys gave us last year. So we don't need that increase. So that would be fine. And then the public safety sign, that's just something we were going to split with PD. If that doesn't happen, not a heartbreak. It was just, I think we were just trying to make sure citizens knew more. But again, that's not a huge thing for us.
Can I ask a question first?
Sure.
Yes,
So the only item that we were looking at were the 1.8, the 390 and the 75. So let me understand something. The 390 is a possible grant?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what we need to do is make sure and be certain that it's included in revenue. And if it is, then that's fine.
Correct. And we applied, I think it was last month, it had to be turned in. We
Okay.
applied. We've not heard back. And like I said, that would, for the first year, would be funded completely by the federal government.
Right, 100%.
If it happens, and we only asked for 3
Okay.
because we didn't know that we could even absorb 6 even in 3 years. So we went with 3.
Okay.
So that basically come right off the list immediately.
Mhm. And so what that means, Commissioner, the only item we're touching on the decision units is just one item. Well, actually 2, it's the 1.8 and completely take off the 75.
And again, I heard Chief Taylor say the the ladder truck was more needed at this point than the fire engine.
Yes.
So
You want us to take off the fire engine?
Yes, ma'am. That would be, do we need the ladder truck? The ladder truck is 20 years old.
Uh-huh.
The engines are 8 and 9. So, at 10 years, they're supposed to go to backup status. We also, when we got the new ones, we lost one of our backups.
Okay,
So now we're down to one backup engine. But we've been making that work. So, and those are a little newer than the ladder truck.
okay. So I'll meet with the fire chief and see if we can get a better rate.
So with regards to the public safety sign, and I heard that you said that you were willing to split with the police department. Currently, do we have any public safety signs?
No, sir. just
So
with
those that
the
are
county
out that we
has
see
theirs.
are the county.
Right. And so that was our half of it. That 8,000 was the PD's had 8,000.
Thousand in their budget, yeah.
Right. And we're not touching any of that,
Okay.
right? There was only two things we were touching.
Okay, thank you.
You want to come up?
Commissioner Jones, do you have any questions? I'm sorry, I didn't ask.
I just want to clarify something on that sign. It's not the signs that you're talking about, Commissioner Campbell, where we have the signs that are like a trailer.
Mhm.
We do have one of those and it's operational. The sign that we're talking about is an electric sign out in front of the police
Yeah,
department.
right. Mhm.
That
Like the
will,
one at the school district.
yes, sir, like the school
Right.
district has, yes, sir. It's one that will be able to put things out about the police department, the fire department, upcoming events for other departments of the city. Kind of like one that the commission has talked about putting over
Right,
by
yeah, we're almost
the
there.
bridge.
So let me ask you this, and it's just for, I think it's an idea, but with the chamber just across the street, is it, I don't want to say clutter, but is there an I'm thinking distraction, and I'm thinking, will there be things shared there that could possibly, I mean, because we pay the chamber to see
Yes.
if there are things that we would be able to utilize their advertising board for as well.
We might be, we haven't had that discussion, but the chamber runs a lot of information on theirs. That's why we were looking at.
Just was asking, I'm not.
Yes, sir.
And they certainly could have events, because that's a lot of their information on this. Any events we have could be on the chambers, and the focus of the one we have, if we get it, could be on other things
Yes, ma'am.
that are important.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
You just put yourself on the hold.
Anybody have any?
I like the water treatment plant. Can we?
You like somebody from the water, is there somebody here?
Yeah, well.
Yes, oh, Jim.
You know what I really want to know is what is the condition of our plant? Are there things, I mean, we know we're running, but are we whole? I mean, does my question make sense? What I'm
It
trying to
makes sense.
say.
We are whole, but we're failing.
That's-
It's getting very old. The internal parts, after 40 years, they just start to run, and that's kind of where we're at. The decision units throughout the water treatment plant are all very, very serious, at the point to where we need to move forward. At this point, anyway, but yes, ma'am, that's an actual fair question. Mhm.
Okay, so those are.
This is to
steps
avoid,
that
catastrophic failures in the very near future, all this stuff,
Yeah.
so.
Thank you, that's what I thought.
Yes, ma'am, of course.
And I would guess the same is true of the reclamation facility.
Yes, absolutely. They run hand in hand.
Thank
Can,
you.
can we get a comprehensive list? And I thought we asked for these things, prior to way in advance in terms of when we get our updates. What's happening with each department. So when we get to the budget, we're not continuously getting hit with, things. You might get hit with something, emergency thing here and there, but throughout the year, if you got some things, assets that's in end of its life cycle, go through your assets and understand the priority of those assets and what they mean as it relates to environmental or regulatory or whatever else it may be. And let's present something along those lines to kind of help us understand so that we can help fund things from the budget before we get here and we get, onesies and twosies. So if we can get that going forward, that'll be perfect.
I
Cause
understand.
it'll set you up for the budget going throughout the year.
But you all agree the work on the budget has to start much earlier than we've been starting historically.
I would definitely agree.
Okay.
That's
So
very
I did go, I don't know if anybody else, I did go through your information. And some of the budget, of course, there's a lot to go through, but came up with some thoughts. I think if we're asking other departments to sacrifice positions, then it is only fair that we do. We don't have a legislative aid position, it's vacant. We don't have it filled. That's 50,505, correct? And so, is it filled? Am I missing something? Did it get filled?
The position is legislative aid, human resources, that position is not filled.
The legislative aid? Okay. I think we have to give up something as well. We can't just ask every other department and the community to pitch in if we are not going to. So that was one of my suggestions. They're just suggestions. I don't know about our school and conference allocation. It's 10,000 per commissioner. Can that be reduced?
Okay. I hear someone talking. Is
Yeah, I
that
see
Yeah,
somebody.
Commissioner Jones.
Finance director, I think they're speaking to. Yeah, they're giving their suggestions, please.
Who is that?
Okay, so
They will-
city commission lines is 4025. All right, so yes, ma'am, I see where you're speaking on page 1.
Yes, all the city commission information's on page 1.
Okay,
And then again, and this has been brought up before, I brought it up when I was first elected, and Commissioner Davis has brought up the elimination of the special events and projects allocation of 5,000 each, 25,000 total
yes.
to the commissioners and the mayor, even if that is rolled into the fund that's being established to offset costs for nonprofits.
And even, we were trying to make sure that in this budget, we also include the guidance that we were given from the last agenda meeting of establishing that special events fund to be operated under the community affairs. Remember, related to Blue
Mhm.
Crab, and there's not the Blue Crab anymore, it's the special events festival. So we've been looking at being certain that that is funded. So at this moment, we have it in the budget.
It's
for
in the budget at 100,000.
Yeah,
And
for
I didn't know if that
100,000.
might have to be reduced, but if we roll in that 25,000, then we could reduce it to 50 and bring it up to 75, so to speak. I mean, that, or whatever, but I think 100's a lot for the first year.
100,000 for what?
It's for all of the different,
Festival
the
special.
guidance that we understood from that last meeting was that, all the events, the special events should be treated pretty much the same.
Right,
Particularly as it related to, a festival that have like 3,000 people or more.
Yeah.
And so what we've been trying to do is establish, and we're gonna bring it back and send it to you.
okay.
But we're establishing stratification, like if it's a class A, then, there you are. Okay. Go ahead, you can explain it better, thank
Yeah.
I
you.
got a
Eddie,
good
correct.
recommendation.
So in the last commissioner meeting, when we was talking about the Blue Crab, the commission's guidance was to kind of fund some of the events in the city, like the Azalea Festival, Sam Deputy Christmas parades. So what we did, we came up with a Class A, Class B, and a Class C sponsorship funding price. Class A would be about $4,000 per event. Class B, we looked at around about $2,500 to $2,000, and the Class C, which is really pretty much 100 people or less, is about $1,000 or 500. And that's where we came up with that number. The number of events that we have so far right now that we've been doing throughout the city, we added it up and it came up to be about close to $100,000 if we did that grid.
Wow.
That's what I said. Oh, wow.
If we did that grid.
Wow.
But now, that was just a potential guidance. What we did was I took the Blue Crab, I took 4th of July, Jingle Jam and a couple events that we do that's Class A, and kind of the money we spent to help put that on from the city. And then I did the same thing with Class B event, but it could be brought down significantly, because right now these events been doing it without money, so any money you give to them would be a plus. I had the occupation Palatka reach out to me and said that we just help with the porta pods and stuff of that nature in his events. That would offset some stuff. So you're looking at maybe $800. So the numbers can change. This is just a guide to get it started and see where we go with that.
Right, and I thought the 100 was a bit high, and so I was suggesting dropping to 50, but then rolling the special events funds we each get, the 5,000 each into that, so that it covered that, because we don't need our separate pockets of money.
Well, I'm not sure if I will roll all of my 5,000. I'll roll some. I'll roll some to help with the events. I mean, but
And
because there's other things that I also do to help with things to give back to. Every year we did it for the last 8th year with taking about 40 kids down to the Magic game and also to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we have a vendor who pay for the tickets to the games. Also, we buy shirts and different things of that nature for the kids. And so my contribution back is at least provide something from the city so it doesn't look like we're just being a taker and not giving back. So that's why I want to keep some of my funds to be able to help contribute to a portion of some of the things we benefit from.
And to the like of Commissioner Borum, when we think about these funds have been utilized in many ways that have been beneficial. And even when we had the initial conversation, I've received several emails and phone calls with regards to it. I don't know, some people may not know that with some of the special event funds, we were able to assist the school with getting students transportation to games where generally in years past, they have not had the opportunity to, and this is a charter school within our community, been able to have a complete year. This year, they were not only successful at that, but actually went to the championship in 2 of their sports. So this special events is not solely just for us to benefit from, but it is beneficial to our community. So I want to make sure that if we take in consideration, and Mayor, I agree that if we are asking other departments to chisel, we should be able to do the same. But a lot of the things that we have or we're asking to chisel from are things that we've worked extremely hard to try to get. We've worked hard to try to get a legislative aid. And maybe just because I've sat here long enough to understand the importance, I can give you a prime example of what just happened to me this past week with me traveling, where I had to disrupt 3 of our employees just to be able to get me where I needed to be in Texas to represent. And those things, it was handled initially by someone and then fell off. So when we think that these things are not important, I've sat here long enough to see some of the importance and some of the benefits of what comes out. But again, I'm not saying that we cannot chisel away, but I want us to be mindful. Just because it appears not everyone is creating an event, not everyone. I've been doing the movie nights with Commissioner Campbell for just about as long as I've been here. Those things are for the community. There's not, but again, I just want people to know that these special event funds are not self-serving. They serve this community.
Okay.
And I think go ahead. I'm sorry, Coach. Go ahead.
And to, as it relates to, those, like you say, those special events funds, they do pay back into the community. Even with, I helped about 5 youth who were troubled youth to be able to participate in the summer program. They completed that program, and these young people were getting in trouble in school and different things of that nature. And so being able to go to these summer programs and keep them off of the streets and doing some constructive, positive things, they were able to complete the program over the summer. And it's the PAL program, which we've helped a number of kids who were having issues in school and as along with other things.
And also, if I may just add one last thing, since he brought that up, some of the funds that I've had allowed us not to turn down some of the interns that applied. I gave funding towards, I want to say about 7 or 8 interns so that we would not be able to, so we would not have to serve or turn interns down through the city of Palatka. And as stated, had they not had some of these opportunities for employment, some of them would not have the necessities that they need to go back to the school. So again, these funds are not just, we don't benefit from them, but the youth and the citizens of this community does.
And one last thing, as it relates to the aid, uh, I do I'm on a number of different boards and I do quite a bit of traveling as such as, Commissioner Campbell and maybe some of the other commissioners as well. But again, if you talk to Sonny Krantz, she can tell you about the time frame it take to book something for commissioner. Then in addition to the aid and what they'll do for us, they could be doing a lot of different research for a commissioner for different things that we don't have time for when we're on our full-time job. And so all of those things that come into play as it relates to some of the things that we're asking, we're not asking. If I would love for anybody to just look at anything that I ask for and then how I apply my funds and then make a good sound decision as it relates to, am I wasting taxpayer dollars? And I can guarantee you 100% is no. And that's just how I operate. So I'm not, if I'm asking for something, it's legitimate.
And I don't think I'm questioning anybody's legitimate. These are just, and as it says, possible budget adjustments. I'm looking to us to also give something up. And I'm not saying that you're wrong or right. I mean, I'm just throwing ideas out. So take it for what it is.
Well, you brought up, that's a good valid point. But that's a very good valid point. But it's just to each commissioner how they deem to do things. But you as the mayor or a commissioner, if you are willing to put your funds back in, that, just let that be that case. But again, if other commissioners are not willing to do that, we can make suggestions, but again, at the end of the day, I think it'll be up to the individual commissioner as opposed to having it run through the city manager, because but prior to some people coming on board, we already had these things in place already. And so we were serving the community way prior to other people coming on the board. So why end something that's been
What does that mean?
no, I'm just
What does that
just
mean?
making a point.
No, I just didn't know what that meant. I was trying to hear you. I didn't know what you meant.
Yeah, this thing has already been running for a number of years, but if there are people or individuals who may look like they are doing things improper, let's make sure that we can call those things out. And if it's unethical, then deal with the ethical side of the thing. But again, examine my stuff. I'll be happy to for anybody to
And that
look
was
at
never
mine.
my inference. That was not my intent. My intent was to save funding for the budget. It was never making any allegations that people were misusing funds. That was not what I said. So go ahead, Commissioner. Jones. 1 minute, Commissioner Jones.
Commissioner Jones.
I just want to say that I'm not in favor of cutting commissioner funds for all the reasons that's already been mentioned, and also for educational purposes. I think every commissioner that sits on the board could tell you the value of us going to conferences and Florida League of City things that we need to go to enhance and also help us learn our job and what we're supposed to do. So if you invest in your commissioners, you should be getting something out of your commissioners. And I think that all the commissioners have shown that they bring something back from all of these conferences and workshops that we go to. And I know just from my first term, most of it came from these conferences that we attended and workshops. So I don't think we could put a price on those kind of funds being spent. Okay, that's all I want to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis.
Yeah. I do agree with the other commissioners that we need a legislative aid. The reason we do is because, one, we have a relatively new city clerk and who has a lot going on. I recognize, and the other commissioners and mayor who've been here before me can recognize that the previous city clerk had different experience and did other things. So that is a huge gap. I can tell you coming in as a new commissioner, I don't know, should I go to the right, to the left, to the in, to the out, even for certain things. I don't know if I have all the meetings that I need on my calendar. And so again, we just need clear support. That is a necessary position, I believe. In terms of the commissioners, I think it's called event funds, I am not against supporting our community. What I want to make sure is that with discretionary funds like that we are not duplicating efforts or doing things that belong with a department or some other place in the city. That really is just my point. I do think things that are happening are important and are necessary. Sometimes for me, and this is even before I became a city commissioner, it was confusing to me as a citizen as to what a department, sometimes like community affairs or our rec department, I mean, I knew what they were doing, but when I would see an individual commissioner doing, that's confusing to me. And those are some of the instances that I'm referencing that could look like some duplication of efforts. So in terms of students and supporting and some level of latitude with how some funds could be expended for each commissioner, depending on that project, that's not necessarily what I'm against. I am against duplication of efforts in any capacity. The other thing is just ensuring that, again, we are doing things that are reasonable, that are necessary, and like you said, adding value. If something should be done by a department or by the city directly, because again, these are tax dollars. And I just want to make sure we're appropriately using them. And I hear you.
And
I guess my other question would be as well, for these funds, are there any guidelines?
there are, but they may, that was what I was gonna segue into. They may need to be looked at again, and refined a bit. They're somewhat general, but there are guidelines. There are guidelines, and we went around and around of those a few times, but they are there.
Well, I'd like to ask the commissioners, is $5,000 reasonable? Or I guess that's what I want to know.
I
'Cause
mean,
we
we're
also
already
talking
taking
about
a
the
hit.
amount.
We're already taking a hit there because at first it was $10,000
Oh, per
that
commissioner.
we had. So if we're going to 5, we're already taking a $5,000 hit.
Thank you.
And the amount that I paid to allow the interns was right at 7,000 or a little over $7,000. And again, I think that was very beneficial because those kids were very appreciative and I saw the fruits of the labor as a result of it. So even with the 5,000, it's better than nothing. I'm not going to complain about that, but we're already taking a hit with 5,000 because it was 10,000, which allowed us that we just recently got it to where we're able to roll it over. So that helps us or have helped us for those of us that had or had not expended. So that gave our bucket a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
And question, in terms of the internship program, is this the city's internship program you're referencing?
so it
or-
is the city intern rep that I am referencing. The funding, there is a funding allocations for it. However, generally, the police department facilitates something, but again, trying to maximize what they have or what they were going on, there was a need at that moment. So with that need, I asked, would it be feasible for us to utilize some of that funding, which the city manager, anytime I ask questions, she always, first thing says, let me get back with you, Commissioner. Let me research it. I'm on it. And so she never had, there are times where she has come and said, well, no, we can't utilize it for that. So she's very, very, very good at making sure that if it's something that we cannot expend funds on. But again, this was something because maybe I feel, because it was near and dear, because that was something that started once this previous commission was here. So We wanted to maximize, and we're actually the leading charge where other municipalities in this community have started as a result of us. So we wanted to continue to shine.
And if I may,
Go
Okay.
ahead.
in the budget on page 2,
Yeah.
there is an actual line item for interns.
Okay.
And currently, the amount is, for the new year, 31,500.
Yeah, so that's why I was asking
We can
the question.
increase
Was
it.
there not a line item last year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it wasn't enough for.
It wasn't
is
enough.
what you're saying.
Demand.
Thank you. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. And
And if, the commissioners are interested in increasing it from that 31,500, then this would be the opportunity as well.
There was
to let me-
already an increase, right? Because last year,
I
I want to say it was
increased it from-
25,000.
you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
last
I
year
think
was 24,960. When I looked at the amount of activity that happened this year, then I said, okay, they need to increase it. So I
That's,
did increase it. to
okay,
31.
based on this year's interns.
Yep, this level.
Is, when we talk about an internship program, is there a plan? Like we want X number of interns per department at this amount, and we can come up with a number? So I'm confused as to why that number is not determined when we're doing the budget.
So I can
Please.
speak to it because again, the internship program was something that I proposed to the city that the commission was gracious enough. Each year, the demand for the internship changes. It is budgeted into the city budget. But again, the demand for it was a little bit higher this year. So that's why I'm assuming that finance took in consideration the amount. And there is a cap. There is a cap. And there was actually change on the end to dummy down the amount of hours that they tentatively used to work to allow for more students to come on. So I will say human resources and finance played a major part in trying to accommodate as many as they could. However, I made the request. I don't want to say the city. I made that request to provide that additional funding so that we would not have to turn away.
So when you say the demand increased, what does that mean?
More students were interested in.
Exactly. So again, I'm just coming from another space of planning, like, I hear you, Commissioner. I'm probably a lot more black and white than other people in some instances. When we have a finite budget, and we have a plan, and that plan is for 50 students for however many hours at a rate of whatever, and we come up to $31,000, that's what we have, I guess I'm trying to say, but
And we're saying the same thing because they capped it at where they were. I came and asked the request. I get what you're saying. There was a budget for it. There was a cap. They were at that cap. But I saw the need, which I came with my funding at that moment. So I don't want to say city staff did anything outside of what they were supposed to. There was an allocated amount. I made that request with the funding that
I got it. And the point I'm really trying to drive here is this is an example of what I mean is if we have budgeted for it and it's in a place, because that's not a duplication, but I'm just using it as an example. There was a plan for it and you wanted it to be more, so that's how you use your funds. That's all I'm just trying to say. But the same thing with me not having the guidelines for commissioners to use these funds. Again, if I went out and had an ice cream social with the funds for the city, I guess technically I could do that, again, not knowing what the.
Yeah, but the guidelines are there and that is one of the things you couldn't do.
Well,
We'll send you the
But
guidelines.
whatever, my point is, if I'm doing something that it looks like another department.
Right, you don't want the duplication,
I-
come back to the
I-
duplication.
yes. The reason this is critical, and I hear us, everything we're saying is important. But when you have everything that's important, you still have to prioritize in those items that are important to those things first that are critical. I'm driving this not because I don't want to take away funds or do anything, and I do think there are other opportunities to do it. I just want to say that if our goal is to not raise taxes, and that is absolutely my goal, to not raise taxes for our community And we also want to, from what I'm hearing, decrease the fire assessment, right? Then I'm just looking for ways of efficiency. I know there, those programs and what is happening with some of the funds is absolutely enhancing the community. But I'm comparing it to relative to what we're trying to do in light of increased costs. Something has to give. And that's really, I just want you guys to understand where I'm coming from. And when I talk about the whole, and while it may have been great back then, because at the end of the day, I know we're trying to revive in our community, right? We're trying to enhance, we're trying to support. But I just think I want us to be responsible in doing it by putting the critical things first, identifying where there's opportunity to do the things that we're saying have been done and making sure we're doing it in the most efficient way. That's really all I'm saying. If
And
the
that is why
$5,000 in a commissioner's budget is okay, rather than being in the community affairs budget, it's still the same $5,000. I just want to make sure we're allocating properly and what's best for our city and that gives the right message to everyone in our city.
And that is why I spent the time on this exercise to have this discussion and about where we can contribute to reductions that are extras and not necessities. But again, it has to have a discussion, and that's what we're doing. I also had a question, I have several more, about, there is a line item in the commission budget on page 1, 25,000 for citizens' transportation. The county did
Right.
receive an allocation
Yes.
from the state.
Right, we are
I'm wondering if we have to keep that in or not. Okay,
and on the fifth draft, we've already notated,
okay,
but we found out that information after this was.
okay, great.
completed.
Next thing is on page 9.
Can
under
I say
government-
one thing?
You
Mayor?
can.
Mayor, on page 1, just so everybody can see something, where we have that schooling conference line. And we have the 10,000 each there.
Yeah.
Our projected numbers, I don't think no one is gonna go greater than 7,500. So if you are really, only the commissioners could know, but just based upon, year-to-date expenditures and projected, maybe that is an opportunity, like
And
if
again,
that
that's
was,
for everybody to
instead of being
decide.
10, make it 7,500.
I'm willing to do that. I don't know about everybody
That's
else.
only if, those that travel, because I did look at that,
I'll be willing to do 7,500. I mean, if
7,500.
you analyze that already, I mean,
I
I
did.
don't have a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, or they want to leave it at 10? I mean, we can, and you can think about it. We don't have to make the absolute decision.
But no, we do need to think about it because the next meeting is where we
Right.
We
make
have
that
a balanced
decision.
budget.
We don't-
That's fine.
You don't know it.
we don't have time.
You have the budget.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, Commissioner Jones, are you okay with 7,500 versus 10? For education conferences?
Sure.
Thank you,
Commissioner Campbell?
What is citizens, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, I was trying to get consensus.
Citizens transportation.
That was right solution, and
Okay.
remember the other day I said.
That's
That's what
her-
I asked. and That's
Yeah.
coming off.
We already said it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Got it.
quick question while we're saying it's coming off. So, will there be something to continue those services? Because again, that route specifically impacted people who were inside the city limits. So if that being the case, and we understand the community that it served based off our route and our ride, and the people saying, hey, this is certainly something that we need to get medicine, groceries, essential things for them who don't have transportation. I'd like to hear some more about that. So.
Yeah, and that's why I posed it as a question.
He's meeting with them also.
Go ahead.
Well, yes, I have met with Mr. Board in the Ride Solution Transportation area. They recently came into some funds that help offset all that expense. The routes will be the same. They're actually gonna try to increase a couple more days to the route that we had. So
Okay.
they recently came in. We met a couple weeks ago about them not needing the funding next year for what we applied, but in Mr. Board mind, he should have said the funding would be there in place and we should have more routes and everything should be in place for 2026 to 2028.
hopefully unless something change.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
These are continued questions. Under government services on page 9,
Yes, ma'am.
special events budget of 26,400. I just want to know what that was about.
It's that 24,000.
Yeah,
You keep going up there, Miss Karen. The finance director showed me two line items. I know the 4910, which is like 35,000, but it might be 26,000 now. That is the special events that we do for the 4th of July, the Jingle Jam, the Hippity Hoppity, and other events that the city does. That where the funding come out of. The Summer Jam series come out of all that line item right
I
there.
was just asking for
Yeah, now the
clarification.
26.
Okay, for the 26,400.
Well, it
That's
was
the
two
same
lines.
city.
She showed me two line items.
That's on page 9.
Oh, yes.
That's special events, the stage.
Oh, fireworks, special.
Oh, that's,
Yes,
519,
26,400.
519, 349, that is actually not my line.
Okay. Whose
'Cause I
line is
can't,
it?
I can't explain that. I don't know what line that,
Okay.
519, I'm 573.
Was it, is it? You know.
Oh, no, the one she's questioning is on page 9,
On page 9,
519.
34930.
34930.
Yes.
So what-
And we'll come back with it, but I believe it's the
Okay, it's
city.
just again a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so
city.
don't go anywhere, Mr. Cutright. Special events, St. John's River Center
don't-
Cultural Service, it's under Cultural Services on page 20.
Right.
35,000 for special events, St. John's River Center.
But that was initially where it was put in when we had the River Center.
Correct.
as host.
Still
But
there.
that's for the special events that we do down on the riverfront.
Okay.
The 4th of
Okay, so
July,
that's for the river-
Jingle Jam,
okay.
Hippity Hoppity, Red Riding You, and other events that we put out there, the Summer Jam series. That's where that money come out of.
Okay, so it's for the riverfront versus the river center. Okay, great. I'm gonna bring it up. I don't know if anybody else is I think we should eliminate the funding for the splash pad and put it back into the general fund. But again, that's a discussion. I'm just bringing up points. I don't know what people's thoughts are on that.
Well, Mayor, how are you gonna take funds that we've already allocated, already voted on to do, even prior to you being on board? So why would that be such a main concern at this point, as far as a budget item that we already had the money to do it? Yes. Hello?
Anybody else want to speak to it?
Well, I guess my
Question was posed to the mayor.
the mayor, yeah, I'm
I
gonna let you
didn't hear
answer, and then
And that's my problem. So Commissioner Jones, could you say that again? I'm so sorry.
Let's see, they might.
It's hard to hear you.
Can I repeat for him?
Sure, please.
And you guys help me, what I heard him ask is how are you gonna suggest that we remove something that has already been voted on for that item? That was the question.
And was budgeted prior to.
And but prior to,
And voted.
and I get that.
Yeah,
I
that
get
was the
that.
question.
But again, I'm just trying to come up with cost saving measures that may be acceptable. I don't know if we would have to go back and retract and have a new motion and do all of that good stuff, or just leave it alone. But again, I'm just not in favor of it, but I'll leave it at that.
I honestly think that we need to, a lot of conversations that we have, we pacify. And I think this conversation with the splash pad is a conversation that has been pacified for years.
Mm.
I think we need to get to the point to really say if we're going to do the splash pad or if we're not,
Right.
and then we can move forward. So I understand Commissioner Jones' point, but again, this is something that if we're gonna do it, let's put the boots on the ground. And if we're not, let's make that determination so that we won't have to continue to play with this and kick it down the road any longer.
Commissioner Boyle.
Yeah, I thought we weren't supposed to be talking about that splash pad until we got information back from
Yes.
our project manager, who was supposed to be bringing the whole smeal to us, and then we can make a determination at that point. Even though we've already voted on it, that we wanted to do it, so things are in motion. And so we was just waiting for
Yep.
some feedback. And so am I correct on?
You're completely correct, and we will be prepared possibly by the end of this week. So it will be on the agenda for further discussion, decision-making. We'll have everything that we have been requested.
Okay, again, it was. brought up
Additionally, the
discussion.
engineers will also be here as well.
Okay,
Two
just
different-
another discussion point while we're on the budget and we're
Mhm.
looking for funds.
Commissioner Jones,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
request to
Commissioner.
speak.
Can you turn?
Mayor, that shouldn't even came up with this budget, period. Because that's something that already in a prior budget had been approved. The wheels been set in motion. It's obvious that it's personal, that somebody personally don't want the splash pad. Again, it's not like it's going in my backyard, but that's how it feels, as if some people on the dais don't want it. And three of the commissioners for sure was already on there that we had voted for it to happen. But now it seems as if it feels like there's a crusade that don't want it. Now, again, it's not a personal thing. I think it's an enhancement for the city, going down in the riverfront. And I guess at one point in time, the entire commission felt that way. I don't think that it's fair, or it should be done where someone come in and undo what's already done. If that's the case, there's a lot of other issues that we should bring back up and maybe change, but that's not how we supposed to do business up there on the dais. So, again, you bring it up every chance that you get an opportunity, is to seem to have momentum to get rid of that. If you have a real good reason, I could understand. We don't have a splash pad. We don't have a pool in the city of Palatka. There are some recreational things, real recreational things that's meaningful that we could put money towards. And we're talking about taking commissioner's funds, and we're talking about little things. There's some big items that we didn't even talk about on here that's on the wish list, like using front end loaders and back end loaders when we don't use them on a regular basis. $300,000 equipment. Look at stuff like that. And I try to be quiet, and really give every department what they need to do their job. But we could question those things. How often do they use those front end loaders, back end loaders? Is it more feasible to rent them when you need them? But this splash pad, I do want to put it to rest. Are we going to do it or not? If we're not going to do it, it's okay. But I think it's wrong to actually go through the process, the right process, to get an item, pass an item, allocate for that item, and then start putting roadblocks up and going backwards in the process. So because someone or some people don't want it outside of the powers that be, So if we feel the need that every time somebody question what we do, that we need to go back to the drawing board, that shows just how strong our board is. And I'm done.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Barnes.
Okay, while we're still talking a little bit about the budget, and I got two other things I wanted to kind of hit on. I know eventually we talked about the special event funds, Blue Crab. Now, so let's just jump on the Blue Crab and how much we were putting in for that. We were putting in 150, 75, 50. And so we ended up with 50, but we want to just remind everybody that we were receiving some of those funds back from different organizations who were providing funds back. So when we think about setting aside funds for these events, it's no longer the situation where we're recouping anything. So there's going to be just money expended,
out.
expended and not getting anything back.
Mhm.
That's the first point. The other point with the pool, we have a lot of different scenarios and different things. So I know I was a big proponent of, having a pool. We are, a peninsula state. We're surrounded by waters on all three sides, east, west, and south. And, we have a lot of people who are not able to swim in Florida. And so I do know that Governor DeSantis, and, Travis Hudson, they had programs, funding available specifically for giving funds out to help young people learn how to swim. And we've had just a recent drowning at the riverfront. So I think it's super important that we seek a way to be able to provide that particular avenue for our citizens. At this point, we do have we covered up Lefford Turner Park pool. It got covered up. Some
Right.
years ago, the commission and leadership gave it up. The Ravine Gardens, that was given up. It's no longer even revivable.
Right.
Westover is where a pool is, way over on the Westover, pretty good ways from other areas that used to have a pool that lost those resources. And we have a golf course that's got a pool that we don't know how it got there on the city property. And people are not able to access that pool. We still need to do a further research on that to figure out if the commission voted on allowing somebody to put a pool on public property. And if anything happens, who's responsible? Okay, and water and power. We need to understand all of those things. And the last thing we got is Calvary Life Center does have a pool, which I did give some funding to last year and look forward to giving additional funds this year. We have to restore some of the things that the community have lost over the years and provide those things to have a balanced situation for our city. And so that's what I'm pushing for. And so that's all I have for those two.
Mayor?
Do you want to respond? Go ahead.
Please. So Commissioner, department heads have been meeting on that very item. Matter of fact, today we had a meeting on that. And we are at this point looking to communicate with Ms. Lolita, I believe. Yeah, Lolita, and because they came and made a presentation about the pool, so we are in the midst of sitting with them. Our intent is to hopefully have an MOU that would provide pool services to, or access to their pool to our community. So we're in the midst of starting that now. Our intent is to finish that communication before we have the finished budget. So we're looking to put funds in there as I'm making notes of everything. And I'm also making sure that we're setting aside funds to initiate negotiation with them, so.
I did see where some funds were set aside. I think I got an email with the allocations. But I think on the magnitude and the scale that we're dealing with, I think $10,000 is not
Oh, no,
enough.
we're looking at 35.
Okay, because
Right, that's where we are as of our last conversation
right,
today.
it just makes
Yeah,
sense.
we just had a meeting on pool today.
Right, okay.
Okay, so
And-
that's where we are.
Right, and the last thing to circle around on the 10,000, we talk about the spay and neuter thing, that we haven't seen that mobile truck here yet, or that mobile trailer serving the city of Palatka yet. Now, the last email that I got that said that there was something that
Yeah,
they were gonna be set up somewhere out in the county,
right.
somewhere. I'm not going out there.
Commissioner Bowen, there was a request from this commission.
Yes.
That once we gave that money and that trailer was complete, that trailer was to be brought here to City Hall so that we would be able to see the funding, the benefits of the funding that we gave. And
Yes,
that
sir.
was a request of this commission.
It was, and I think that there has to be, and in their schedule, there has to be some days allocated to come to the city, to the heart of the issue. So those the animals can be spayed or neutered.
I would definitely follow up.
Because otherwise they can return the funds back.
You
Because
just
we
said
haven't
that
been.
before.
And they're trying to cover the
Yeah,
whole
he said
county, but
that
we
too.
should have.
Yeah.
Right. We
Yes,
gotta-
sir.
We gotta get our days.
I'll follow
Go
up.
ahead,
I just
Commissioner.
have one thing that I wanted to bring, and Commissioner Jones said it when we were having the conversation with the commission with regards to schooling and the traveling and things of that nature. As I look through the budget, I don't think we're putting enough money towards the schooling and training for our staff. And I
I agree with
think that it needs to be taken in consideration. I know one year I was talking about even the funding that we had for going out and job recruitment fairs. We brought that up one year. But I honestly think that in order for us to have those on our team that are, you know, overly qualified. I prefer to have overly qualified than just to have qualified. That we take in consideration building into the budgets of all departments, the schooling and training. We can only get better if we put ourselves in spaces that would allow us to get better. And I think it would be beneficial, not only just for department heads to be able to take advantage of schooling and training opportunities, but some of the staff as well. So I would definitely, with some of these fundings that we are cutting, I would like to see that possibly some of it be taken in consideration for conferences, school, and training for staff in general.
Yes, sir.
I thought they had done that like
Huh?
a while back. I thought that was in place already
The
where.
funding levels is very low.
It is there, but still, the department heads and their efforts to, try to keep us in line with, budget and so forth. They may have been a little bit more conservative and, I'm taking the comments.
Right.
I've already put a note that I will look back at it with them. Our intent will be to increase it somewhat.
And then we still do have where, if they want to continue education, that we do reimburse them for education, correct? That's what we got on the books.
Human
Ms. Jones?
resources, do we have that?
No,
We don't have that in the budget at all, do we?
No.
Simply have an increase if they were to get, employee.
You wanna come up so they can hear you, please?
so we need to work on that. We're only as good as only as good as our education.
We currently do not have any reimbursement for going to school. We simply have a 5% increase if they obtain their associates and associates or bachelors, and a 10% increase if they get their masters. Those are the only, and then education incentives, of course, is a flat dollar amount if they get a certification in the field that helps their education.
So, okay, so is there any way, like Commissioner Campbell was saying, if we can make sure that we put the reimbursement for education in there, as well as looking at how we can increase the allocation for certifications or continuing education.
Okay, we'll look at that.
Anybody else? Commissioner Jones? Okay, I did have a couple of questions in regards to the CRA portion of the budget, and
see.
I know Ms. Odom is not here.
But that's okay, I'm very much familiar.
Okay, the downtown TIF, there's a
Right.
line item for special events, grant budget of 15,000. What is that actually for, since
Okay,
special events can't be funded through the CRA?
right, so there's been a lot of research done on that particular item and also with working with Ms. West as well.
Okay,
What she did discover is one of the mechanisms that have been used by other CRAs to stimulate more activity in the downtown districts particularly, is that you would assist the individuals that are putting together the events with an amount of money to help them with the city services that they have to pay for.
okay.
So
that's the
that is
program
the
we
only
used to
way.
have.
Huh?
There's a cost share program, a CRA cost share program, and that's what it used to do. It used to give them
Okay,
$2,500.
so
That
that's pretty
program
much.
should be on somewhere out there, and
Right, so she did meet with legal and also She did communicate with several other CRAs to find out how were they stimulating so much activity in their downtown districts. And that's pretty much the mechanism that's being used.
Okay.
So
Just as
that
long as we
research
have
was done.
clarification legally, that's possible, because we had that and it was done away with because of that 2019 ruling that was
I'll put that here.
interpreted as not allowable.
Okay, I will still follow up and check it out.
Reinstate,
Reinstate or.
revise.
Yeah,
or
I
whatever.
mean, close that one out.
Yeah, yeah, because it's not funded at this point. And then this is just an idea. We have an economic development fund ordinance. To the best of my knowledge, that fund has never been funded. And given that we don't have a lot of extra funding in the general fund, is it possible to pilot an economic development fund program using the guidelines in this ordinance, at least to start in the CRA downtown TIF, and then expand it to the rest of the city as monies allow? It's just a thought, because we're talking about economic development and stimulation,
Right.
or, you know, we do give funding to the chamber for economic development, or do we need at least a part-time person to start, and would that be funded through the CRA? Which makes the most sense to start again, because that's where we have some revenue to do it.
But we gotta look at everything that we're doing. I would say we have the chamber. And I'm not sure how much we actually have benefited from it as it related to the city being brought new businesses or anything else. I just want to kind of understand how the funding that we're currently given and what we're getting back for that. Also, we have right now a CRA coordinator, director, who's also supposed to help stimulate well, actually not only downtown, but this, the south and north TIF as well. So then if we bring in economic development, another component, let's just see what we can get from what we have first, with what we're paying to do right now, because we're gonna have duplicate efforts, I think, in that regard. At least that's what I think.
Well, I
But
was
it's not
also
a-
thinking that we need more research, more data from the
well,
chamber.
And
I
that
mean,
brings
from
up
the
the point that
chamber.
I want to.
the northeast, the northeast, then the economic development, the North Florida Economic Development, the regional council,
Yes.
they gave us quite a bit, and they have the chamber, and also we're supposed to have a member from the board that's represented on that. So that data is already been given to us, and certain things we just need to be able to act on. So
And the data I was referencing was from the chamber, giving us data about what they've actually done for the money we've given.
in the we got the small business
That's
development.
fantastic.
In addition, we pay the Small Business Development Center
We do.
funding. So we have a lot of overlapping things that we really need to see if we're getting our return on our investment before we continue to add another layer and be paying those layers. And I think that'll be something good we can return back to our.
I don't disagree, but my main focus was the Economic Development Fund ordinance that we have not addressed, to probably give some incentivize some development, and it would have to stop probably in the CRA, because that's where we may have funding to do it. And
Yeah,
I'm
we-
talking primarily about that, more than filling a position, frankly.
Right, but I think we have that already. We got
do.
it through the Small Business Development Center, which primarily focused on the central business district. And, because there's not a lot of businesses that, well, I've known that they've helped brought in other than just in the downtown area for the most part. You got the chamber, you got the RA coordinator, and then we have other options. So I'm not a proponent for not supporting it, but let's see what we can do with what we currently have, and then.
And this would provide incentives for businesses, entrepreneurs to invest in downtown. They're doing the recruitment piece in theory. I mean, again, I'm not saying they are or not, but that would be their role to recruit. I'm talking about providing some incentives for people to decide to move their business from somewhere else to downtown Palatka.
I get it, and I agree. However, I think there were some things that were brought up, and even in some of your commentary is very much concerning that we can't specifically say the benefit of us providing funding to the chamber. And this may be a little different of a conversation, but I'm a tad bit concerned that we don't hear from the chamber unless they're coming to ask us for funding. We don't get updates like we get from the small development, business development, and that's concerning. Especially if we are the seat of the city, of this county, as well as they are utilizing city property, building. And all of that is not taking consideration the relationship that we have with them. Again, we should be able to identify straight up what the benefit of us being paid parts of the chamber. And every time we have a conversation with regards to the chamber and funding or the possibilities of doing some additional stuff, like the mayor stated, we have to question if this would be a duplicate of services or something, because we don't know what we're holistically getting from the chamber. And that's concerning.
Commissioner Davis. Oh, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. To that point, my question is, they're providing, the chamber is supposed to provide the economic development arm of the city, right?
Yeah.
And so my question is then what is the city doing to nurture that relationship, or what's our interaction with making that happen? Because I see a gap. I don't see any connection.
If I may respond. So we do quite a bit with the chamber in a sense. We do meet with them perhaps monthly, because they do, like, they have a couple of projects that they're trying to bring to us right now. So as a result of that, we've been meeting with them perhaps on a monthly basis. One of the things that we also do routinely is we tend to go to the monthly meeting and try to get feedback for what's going on. We have been working with their tourism. They have a new person on board, Kimberly. So we've been working with her to make sure that the city is listed and is a part of the outreach that they're doing when they bring events in. We also found out that one of the things they do when they bring events to the city, they create like a bag of coupons and specialties they give out to the participants that come to the event. So at this point, we are trying to develop a more collaborative relationship with them so that we can really say we're getting something from the relationship. So that's where we are.
Well, part of a relationship is a two-way street.
It
You
is.
always have to go to them. They should
what
come
you
to
were
us. We
saying.
meet twice a month. They can at least take out the time to come and share
That was
with
what they're
us
doing.
or give us an update as to what it is that they are doing, the potentials of what is to come.
Okay.
Again, a relationship is not one-sided, and it appears from what you just stated that it's very one-sided, that we're having to go to them instead of them coming to us and broadcasting and having it reflect in minutes to our
That's the
constituents in our
part.
city, of what it is that they're doing.
So even if they could come quarterly.
That-
which
I'll,
again,
I'll
for
Mr.
nothing
Tracy, I'll
now
make
is a
sure to
step in the
start
right
doing
direction.
that. I'll make sure that they start coming quarterly.
Mayor, I want to bring up another item. This has to do with the festivals. One of the things I want to request is that we determine what's the best practice for the approach we're taking to festivals. We're allocating money, and I know we'll have some financial support, right, for whatever festival comes here. But we need to establish what does that look like. If someone comes with a proposal to, lead the festival, a festival for the city, do they have to come with X number of sponsorships? Do they have to come with X number of dollars? What does it look like? Just because somebody comes, I don't think we're going to say, okay, here, we got you $20,000, go forth and conquer. We have to have some requirements. And I'm saying go do this research because one, we're delving into new territory pretty much, right? And I don't want to waste the resources in that way, even though we may not be the lead on it. I know the commissioners mentioned before, we have some skin in this game. And so there are some requirements. I don't want it to come across like, hey, we're just saying somebody come and say you want to lead it and do it. And I want to make sure that we understand what that looks like. What's required? Reach out to some other cities. I have a couple of names of people. We talked about some cities having a, what is that, person?
Event
The event coordinator. Find out what that looks like. We just need to put some parameters around it, not just a line item here. Thanks.
Go ahead,
No,
Commissioner.
I wholeheartedly agree with Commissioner Davis on that. We just can't just say that we're gonna have funding available. And then two, when we put the amount that we're gonna provide out there, you know, once people come, like what is the criteria? And so we wanna make sure that we're investing our tax dollars and we're gonna get a good return on it.
And I assumed we were going to do something of some type of grant format of sorts.
Exactly.
Where everything would be outlined and the application.
That's right.
For the permit would be included with more information, that there'd be this whole packet, and obviously that's gonna go through the special events committee as well for them to make recommendations. But I thought there'd be some guidelines, because again, for somebody who wants to you know, have some of this funding go their way for their event, they need to know what's the expectations are too. And, you know,
Definitely.
as well as we do, so.
And
Go
two, we gotta, we gotta know what we're putting our funds to, cause we might, the cities, cause the city is gonna be giving funds to, we need to talk to an attorney. We gotta talk to an attorney to say, hey, can our funds go to certain things as it relates to an event or whatever else it may be, because we don't know what that event might be
Prime
about.
example, the cancellation of the festival or the night that was supposed to happen on the riverfront that the city proposed and got feedback, negative feedback, because it was Christian based, but they had every other kind of night.
Right.
So that's a very good example, Commissioner Borman. Thank you for bringing that up.
One other thing, when we're talking about efficiencies, this is for Mr. Cutright's department, and I
Okay.
think he's gone, but
I was looking for.
that's okay. Yeah, he had to step out.
Okay.
When we are developing a schedule for next year, the city does not need to duplicate what anybody else is doing. It's a waste of resources. We gotta find a way to partner, do something, but if there's no opportunity for partnership, maybe we support it. I don't know. But duplication, I'm gonna ask the other commissioners to weigh in with feedback they're getting. Oftentimes, there's just confusion, like, do I go here? Do I go there? Why are we doing this 2 and 3 times? So I'm looking for us to clean that up a bit, because I think it's a waste of resources.
Because Commissioner, you remember you did mention this to me. I did meet with Community Affairs specifically related to that. How are we gonna have a calendar that is not having duplication? And when someone else is already doing that, then why are we also doing it? So, right, so that's what we've started on recently.
And there are plenty of other potential events that can be developed too, yeah. There are.
We just started that last week.
Thank you.
I really think that more so recently with this commission that we are really trying to bring in a lot of things that have been issues of the past and have not really been necessarily addressed. So I want to say to staff, thank you for weighing in with us. Thank you for staying, because a lot of times these conversations, well, all the time, we can't have these conversations unless we're in a forum like this. So sometimes meetings can seem as if they go totally to the left, but again, it's an opportunity for us to shine light on a lot of stuff that I know the time that I've been here, and I'll give kudos to the leadership of Ms. Cardi with regards to even some of the grants that we found out that we were not even in compliance with. Had we not have the conversation on the dais about some of the things that we talk about when it's hot and we don't when it's not, as I often say. But again, to staff, we really want to recognize the hard work and the flexibility that you exude when it comes down, because I've been around Ms. Cardi. And I know Ms. Cardi can be very, very, very on point when she needs to, and very direct, which we need in a leader. And I don't want to necessarily say we did not have that in the past, but her leadership has proven that she's tried to get things done. And so again, thank you to staff for your flexibility and your commitment to this city.
Is there any other further discussion? Excuse me.
I
Because we're
echo the
getting
same,
close to the end where we have to make final decisions.
I echo the same sentiment as Commissioner Campbell, as related to the staff and Ms. Carter, so.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis?
No, I agree. And I will say this, coming on as a new commissioner, I'm glad Commissioner Campbell said that I don't have answers. I'm just looking, I would tell you what I'm looking to do and what drives me is not just making our city better, but understanding what's happening in our county, in our state, and in our country. And there are some things, yes, we have home rule where we can make, our rules for our city, but there are some things that come down that we have no control over. And there are some things, agree or disagree, that we have to be proactive on. And we keep hearing this over and over and over. And if you read Facebook and people making comments, it exists, this whole Doge, right? And so a lot of what I'm saying is not necessarily what I want to do, but as the mayor said, it's an option that we need to look at so we can be proactive and take this time as we're transitioning and cleaning up and addressing some things to proactively position our city to be efficient and effective. So just know it's not just all the fields, but we're governed, again, like it or not, by many things that we don't have control over that gives us the opportunity to be better as we're making these transitions.
Thank you.
And one other thing.
Go ahead.
I like to see if we can kind of develop a quick fact sheet so that people can understand and know, based on the taxes that they pay. Here is the funding that come in. What you pay through your ad valorem tax. This is how much you get, around about 3.7, about $4 million. How departments in their budget exceed that, and how we have to use grants and other funding mechanism, better place plan, all of those other revenue generators. We need to educate the community on those things, because in our staff as well, for the ones who don't know how that funding come together and how we can use those funds. And but I think education is key.
Because we get beat up on Facebook right now.
Sounds like, Ms. Cardi, it sounds like a huge opportunity for our new public information officer to set up some community meetings so we can
Just
leverage that.
fact sheets and just information. We need to boost our Facebook without comments, but put some of this factual information out there.
Thank you so much, and she will be attending all the meetings.
Oh, so we hired somebody.
We did hire somebody.
Our public information
And a grant
officer
administrator.
will be attending all of the meetings going forward. So it's just that she came on board and.
Yeah, because
But
we're getting beat up on Facebook right now.
Commissioner Jones, do you have anything? Any comments?
I don't think he's on.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we lost him. He gave up on us. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brooks, again for joining us. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Oh,
Motion to adjourn.
okay.